This is it, ladies and gentlemen. The final 3 games here at the GLL PUBG Season 1 Grand Finals. And as has been the case through all the competition, there are now some teams that can definitely win it. But it's not entirely certain who will be given that crown and the amazing trophy that we have here on display. Natu and Andy, it's a pleasure to be going through this with you. I'm Parla. I've been and will continue to do so your desk host for this event.
Unless you get fired.
Share it. Pain is the best pain.
Natu, we're past that.
Dude, that's something you could have said yourself, you know. That's a joke. But you missed an opportunity, so I just took it for you.
Thank you, Natu. I appreciate it. Now, guys, our top, as I've just mentioned, maybe 1 to 5 can all do it. It depends on certain circumstances, but from FaZe down to, who was it around the 5th and 6th? Is it Lumber that's there?
Rogue.
Rogue,
Lumber.
exactly.
Lumbermill.
And Ghost, all these
Ghost,
guys.
Yeah, Ghost is 5th, Rogue is 4th, Lumbermill
And
3rd.
Knights just pumped up to 6th.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
And so,
Can we get that on the screen? We can check it out. Just to
yeah,
remind
we
ourselves.
could potentially get the
Base Optic Lumber,
current
Rogue.
score on the screen for the tournament. There we
Brilliant.
go.
Yeah.
Exactly. FaZe Clan there, sitting
There we
at
go.
the top, 52 points ahead of their nearest competition. Optic,
Knights
Lumber in
have
third,
still chance to
Rogue,
get it.
Ghost, and Knight.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. After the first day, like Knights still, the fight that they've had, they can still pull it.
I mean, if certain circumstances...
Technically win the whole thing.
Yeah.
If certain circumstances happen where FaZe, Optic, and Lumber have rough matches, all the way down to about, I think, 8th place there, maybe even 9th. The people that were still sitting around 700, the late 600s, it can happen. It can genuinely happen.
I mean, the thing is, we've seen from FaZe in a couple of games where they've actually been caught off in rotations. They've lost a couple of members and then put themselves in a situation where they're unable to play their own style and the way they want it to. It becomes a game of true surviving. So they got to really start thinking about, like, how do they approach a game. But then, again, also not think about it too much. It doesn't affect how they normally play either.
Yeah. They've been playing like all the, like, there's multiple teams that have been playing constantly well. That at this point when everybody's at the same level almost, it's hard. Like I'm not sure it's worth it to change the tactic because it's really going from the points. Like
yeah, but at this point, Andy, how do you play optimally under this pressure? As we've established in the stories that we've had throughout this competition, some of these guys, it's their first big LAN. Some of them have come together relatively recently. And of course, they're closer than ever to potentially winning a huge prize, the lion's share of $50,000.
I would say confidence would be a good key for actually keeping it, like everything together and basically trying to, at least one person trying to keep the team spirit going on. If you've had, a bad game and stuff, you have that one guy who keeps it together, you guys talk about it and you basically forget that it was a bad game and you focus the next one with confidence.
Okay. Well, Andy and Natu, I can tell you the plane is in the sky, about to drop everybody over Miramar, and our casters are ready. Toby and Moses, take it away.
Thank you for that wonderful, smooth, and professional transition. I loved
Paula.
it. It was great. Now, in the break time we had between the games, I was developing a new lore for the game, man.
What's that?
So, I thought that really the inspiration for Miramar is not Mexico, like we all thought it was. It was actually a parody of Australia, where Nicolas Cage comes to free the convicts and then crashes a very large plane
Oh, I thought it was
into
just
an
gonna be
area.
the convicts trapped in a specific area. Isn't that?
You can't hold the convicts in a specific area.
Well, I mean, if you make an island out of it and then leave on boats, I think isn't that the Australian origination story?
That would be a very large wall you'd have to make on the coastline of Australia in order to lock everybody in. But yeah, you know what? Maybe we'll go back to the drawing board for a little bit more of that concept. As the plane has come out, it is a 1/3 up west to east plane with a slight 5-degree angle to the north. That's
very specific.
That's very. I love being descriptive.
Do you have a
in games.
protractor out? I like that. That's,
I studied graphics at high school, man. Like
Oh.
I designed a house.
where is it?
Obviously, I wasn't.
Still on
I
paper?
It fell down the side of the valley. You may see it, and it was the reason why the crater was created in Labandina. It was an explosion of my nuclear reactor, which was running the house's power supply.
Overkill. Well, we see most teams floating down, finding their initial loot spots, and this time it'll be a little bit easier to get around the map. We did see some conflicts earlier in the game last time around, so we'll see if teams actually shoot to kill has actually changed their entire strategy. They don't want to go anywhere near finding those vehicles. Actually, having a little bit easier of a time, so that's going to be FaZe getting closer to Optic and the Knights there as well. We'll see now. Will teams start trying to take it to FaZe? We don't see it very often, teams trying to hot drop, and that'll start happening.
Not this time around. Like, you've got that one rogue Knights player. Is he actually just all by himself?
That's straight. I think he landed looking for a vehicle and luckily finds himself in the circle.
Hey, we're going to go to a new location this time around. We've had a lot of southwest circles. Now we're going to go northwest. So this will get to converge a little bit further up. There are a couple of teams which are bouncing down near each other. Most notably is, again, that battle on the northeast corner, which is Crimson trying to battle against NLG. And NLG are even shooting at MBS, who's still parachuting down. He hasn't even hit the deck yet, and he's already taking a lot of fire. In fact, Lockwood only just hit the deck now. So Crimson will try and take the northeast side. They did get a small vehicle into Pybas, so they may just bail out of here and go towards Bronca. In fact, there it is. Yeah,
there he is.
Very high up in the sky. He's the real traffic reporter.
Well, normally with 64 players live, unfortunately, Shroud unable to make it to the ground again for the 14th consecutive match.
Let me just flog that dead cat joke right there. It's just
as far as Crimson's concerned, the ability to get down and loot it is, they're very, very late. They have now finally located a vehicle, so they're going to pick that up and grab that guy. So now for Crimson, having to now move to the opposite end of the map, they're going to have a slow beginning to their loot phase. Yeah. So Crimson trying to translate this into a victory.
I'm interested, like, with this circle, if you have more teams try and move further north. I was talking to you about this after our first round when no one moved up to the military base. But this time around, you actually have, like, La Cobra, Cabrera, up on that north. And there's more ways you can move through the crater fields. There's more positions to transfer than it is just up in the military base, which is a big flat piece of nothing. So do you think it's actually even worthwhile for like teams like LM, who have known at least on Arangel, to go all the way up north and then move in? Is that worthwhile?
I mean, that far.
Oops, it's fine. It's all fine.
Everything's fine. He's going to be fine.
It's only going to mean like a faster knockdown later.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the tough part. Is like the vehicle can be moving like 2 kilometers an hour and still knock you over. But now Optic, having taken Pozo all for themselves, will pick up a lot of loot. So to go back to your question, is it worth it to rotate that far north? In this case, yes. It's going to be Crimson who are arriving late to their loot spot up in the military base. They're going to have to make that long trek. It is deceptively long as well, so you will take at least a few minutes to get all the way over to that side, driving through a potentially occupied area. But that far to the north, there's unlikely to be anybody looting. So,
especially with the plane being in the lower third.
No doubt. So for Crimson or whomever decides to take that route, it should be relatively safe unless Lumbermill decides to rotate first early up to La Cabrera. And, for Rogue, they don't have any incentive to move just yet. They can hold Lumbermill out if they decide to come that way.
I'm interested also to watch Kingwin's position as well as Knights. So Knights can potentially come down and try and control Picardo. As you know, a lot of teams have already been dropping in Los Leones, and Ghost will have to come in from the side, so will Nova. So that's like 5, 6, almost 7 teams will be coming in from just the southeastern corner if we're going to include Envious as well. Hey, it's an M24. That's well worth the drop.
No doubt. So that's actually closer to Optic than anybody else between them and Rogue.
They should have seen it come down.
I imagine so, but again, with all the loot and everything they're going to need out of Pozo, there's likely no need to try and run out and grab that crate. Maybe a rotating team finds it for that M24 and the 8X scope. The 8X, I think, probably the most valuable thing in that crate.
Well, I got my answer for Kingwin already. Larson and Varda starting to secure up the vehicles, and we'll see how long they want to hang around in Picardo. Normally, they have gravitated towards a compound in the middle of the circle. Unfortunately for them, they don't really have one. Knights kind of have, actually, they have your favorite spot.
I mean, as far as the Knights are concerned, I do love me some Power Station. It's one of my favorites, and honestly, it's mainly due to the fact that you can flex anywhere on the map from there. You can go down to Picardo if you need to, but for them, they don't really need to go anywhere. So for the Knights, Not the best squad looting spot, but they will be able to get functional, as we see Krama got himself his AR and a level 2 helmet, all that good stuff. Leaving the VSS on the ground, surprisingly, one of the best items in the game.
Yes. Yes. Most definitely. Alongside the AWP.
I mean, one has a lot more bullets and is quiet. So, I mean, you know,
Yeah,
you make your choice, I'll make mine.
It's also like shooting feathers. They drop that fast.
Or baseballs,
And
paintballs.
unless somehow you've got like the Forrest
Dreams.
Gump feather thrown inside of it, then it'll just float eventually in and then like blind them because it hits them in the eye.
Looks like Lumbermill is going to actually take that rotate first, and they're going to kind of move towards that northern end of the map like Cabrera.
Yeah.
Wide open to be taken depending on how they want to stop, but Navi also on the move, doing a little bit of a drift there, trying to get off the road and into the dirt. So
that's the best line they could have taken. They already engaged FaZe exactly where FaZe is in the last round, so they've learned from that lesson. They're going to take the far western road where there are no compounds to loot, and they can come into the western side of El Pozo unless they want to try and cut in a little bit more and see what the next circle gives. The constriction is on the way, so the blue is coming. It just seems to be coming very, very slow. But eventually, it'll be there.
a lot of space to cover on this primarily land.
Yeah, don't worry about that small little lip that your tire just like crunched into. it's fine.
Navi actually have been playing fairly well as far as
What is sorry, Navi?
yeah, it's you got to sing them a little bit. You got to praise. They have been doing well in staying inactive through the early game, but haven't been translating into the success they had yesterday.
Hit him.
Skating past.
8-time scope
That was
on that
Fuzz.
M4.
That was Fuzzface actually, or was
Mixie.
Mixie taking shots, but Fuzz is nearby as well. FaZe traversing on foot. Yempty a little bit further behind, a little further south.
Our
Mixie,
tournament leaders phase.
Yes, they did have the very rare tough game last time. C9 taking some fire from Ronin. Ronin having a lot of great examples of good team fights, but just not able to translate that into overall success in this tournament.
Yeah, it's been rough for them, but hey, anything is still possible. This is PUBG.
No doubt.
You can get 20 kills and get a first place, and all of a sudden you're catching up by about 80 points. You only got to do that 3 times in a row.
I can't recall exactly where Ronin is set currently on the leaderboard. Not near the top, I don't believe, but for them, it's going to be a tough road to get back to that top spot. But
do you really want to know where they are? I have it here.
Go ahead.
It's 15th.
Okay, so yeah,
they're 15th.
Not
with
doing
400
super hot.
484 points.
all right. Well, their tournament is essentially
compared
over.
compared to the leaders of 835
Yeah, all right.
points of FaZe. So
dream big, but unfortunately, likely not going to occur this time around. As
Come on,
Moody
Moody.
spots FaZe.
Cloud9 would love to get the first kill, especially onto FaZe. We still haven't had a single death. Don't let the 63 fool you.
Oh,
Remember,
he
Knights
doesn't-
are still only playing with 3.
He's going for it.
Mixie!
Oh no, he misses his opportunity.
Well, he hit 3 of the opportunities.
Yeah,
But it was a level 2 vest that was able to protect Mixie, and that vest soaked every bullet up.
No doubt. So Mixie now
Oh, hang
having
on.
He's actually
Range.
turned his attention elsewhere.
Too high, Moody. They're about 150 meters closer than that.
Moody could have waited, I think, a little bit to have someone come up and help him, but I don't know if they decided they want to just go for the knock. But Elusive was there. But he's
Surprised-
taking pressure now that Moody's made that noise. Now eyes turn towards them.
Surprised Moody didn't actually just go for the first shot with the K98 because Mixie wasn't moving much at all.
No, I think it's better to go for the 8x there and just try and pepper him with the shots just to go for that down. But
Now
that-
Moody's under attack. He has to bail off the hill, down and back into the comforting arms of Elusive for a hug.
No doubt. I don't know where the rest of C9 is on them. Actually, I could maybe look at the map screen we have in front of us. It looks like they are split out, but no support there for the aggression from Moody, and they did miss their opportunity. Frolicker there in transition, headed towards somewhere. I can't imagine where he's headed, but he is by himself, solid FPS on his own now.
He decided to go for a
Oh, he's going towards his team.
for a drive. That's all. Like just
He's lost on the map screen there. There's lots of names moving around.
solid FPS inside that buggy is basically a death trap
Oh,
when he
no,
lost the wheel
Solid.
too. Solid. He's
Hits
got
it
a
back.
small little bit of space to hide, but it's behind the buggy. They can just light this up now, Ronan, and potentially blow up
Oh,
solid
a
FPS,
little
which
too
is
close.
exactly what happens. He couldn't back up. He didn't have the space for it. FaZe have also found a couple of friends in the form of Kingwin, who are having another crack at them. So they tried to move up the hill.
FaZe
Wow,
is
this
actually,
is just putting flames on the fire. I say
the flames on the fire.
Yeah, flames on the fire.
Additional flames on the flames.
Yeah. Flaming the player with
I
flames.
got it. So
It's like adding more salt into the wound, but it
there
doesn't make
he
a lot of
is.
sense.
There's Wooly. He knows what's up. He's using that VSS, plinking away at long distance.
Hey, this is the only way we get to see Vis in a game right now.
I get it. It took me a second. So Kingwin is like, is it raining? I think we're being shot at. That's Wooly going long distance with the VSS, not able to land anything on Kingwin.
It just proves you can do something with 9mm.
I mean, yeah, the ump is good. I mean, for something. I mean, at some point, with Wooly now coming up to rejoin Uncivils, SDK just trying to get a decent round out of one of these games. They have had some shots at making that top spot, but just not able to convert on many rounds this time around. So.
They're at least higher than Ronan. They're sitting in 13th position at the moment.
Just a tough tournament for them.
Yeah, it has not been fun, to say the least. We've got a very late kind of move in. So we've lost one player so far.
Ooh, the hard shift, moving all the way north and to the east a little bit. So
yeah, we're going to play a lot of the hills. This puts Lumber Mill in a good position. Same with Envious. They have a small compound on the road, and already the move is beginning. Optic, thanks to their already northern advance they had between the creator fields, they have a nice position for the rest of that team just to move into.
FaZe is going to get squished here. They do. Optic has moved away, giving them a path, but the Knights, Rogue, and Kingwin all moving in behind C9 there as well.
Hetra's still there. Hetra's just hovering around, and FaZe going to go on top of him. But for now, FlyQ is Texas locked in. So Ronan, they came out to the scene of their crime, the murder. But now FlyQuest have a small option for him. Interrogate. Long shots already able to knock down Kraken.
A lot of misses there coming out of Cold Mensa, nothing able to land as there was now a down on the Kraken. It's FlyQuest returning fire. Interrogate not messing around, destroying the vehicle, getting it down as well, I believe. But,
yeah, they got no transportation to get out of this position anymore. And yeah, there is the down on Kraken. They have not upped him just yet. Instead, Cold has just got the suppressive fire going onto FlyQuest, trying to buy space for his teammates to get out of here. But the second FlyQ wanted, they just blow up the party bus for Texas, and he is in so much trouble then.
No doubt. So for Ronan, they're going to have to figure a way to get out of here on foot, but FlyQuest is not going to let them move.
How do you do that? There's a huge rock behind you, and
well, they
nothing but open space.
Yeah, there's about 40 seconds before the next circle begins to move. Ghost coming in. Crimson also still trying to find their way into the play zone, having a very late start.
Yeah, Crimson coming in late.
Blows himself up.
You've also got this little fun part where you got Optic about to be flanked in by Na'Vi, but Rogue.
It's just all transitions right now. There's no team comfortable just yet, other than Envious, who is in the center of the next play zone, so they don't have too far to move. So Gustav going down in a vehicle explosion for Lumbermill, and FlyQuest and Ronan just attacking each other, just not willing to move. There's nothing that they can really do. Ronan is stuck. FlyQuest not willing to give up on the fight, but it looks like they are mounting in their vehicle.
FlyQuest, yeah, they have to go through Ronan to get to the circle, so this is their downside. So if they go for their run, Ronan will have a chance to have a crack at him. Ooh. Knights, they have established the fort, Cloud9, making a lot of noise coming in. To the right.
Froliker is there.
To the right. Oh, actually, they're getting out.
No, I think it's just Froliker by himself.
Just Froliker.
Yeah, I think he's still in that vehicle from before we saw him. So now he's in the valley. No line of sight onto him. Drake now taking fire from elsewhere. It's actually Fuzzface taking a look at him.
Up on the hill. So Froliker begins his drive once more. Back into the car and get the hell away.
Fuzz again put himself in position to take shots at Froliker. Very difficult to land those shots, or at least enough to take him down.
Yeah, he's tilting that car around so hard, like just lean. That's style lean.
Yeah, no doubt. So the amount of fire that Froliker has taken takes his vehicle down to just under half health, and he's just trying to rejoin his team. C9 is just in last place, but just disjointed, not able to really get anything together as far as some team play is concerned. A lot of talent on the team, but just no traction in this game as we see Crimson having taken lots of zone damage and continue to do so as they go to the furthest possible north of the map and try and come south. But NLG is actually still there, so they're going to have to stop and med and try and prevent themselves from getting taken out as soon as they get to the play zone, whenever that might be.
They don't know, they have no information of what's happening around La Cobra. Fuck. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it's La Cobra. Sorry. I've developed bad habits for calling everything terrible names on this map.
La Cobra.
La Cobra. So yeah, at least NLG, like they're further up the hill, so Crimson have ways to get in. Speaking of those ways to get in, Na'Vi going to take a lot of shots from behind. That's Ghost trying to light them up and get them into defilade. Na'Vi are happy just to keep running, however. Get deeper inside this circle and try and get involved in the other fights. I say that as Optic and Kingwin also open up a little bit further north, trying to control the north of the crater fields.
The one thing I will say is that anytime I see a team like Na'Vi, a skilled team fighting squad like they have, they always move together. It's those, I mean, maybe this is just me, but the little nuanced things like the spacing they have when they're running through the map. If they were to come across someone, they're ready. They have the ability to trade. It's those little things. FaZe does that very well, and all the top teams just have great spacing when they're moving on foot, and that's just one of those little things that separate the best teams from everybody else.
Man, enjoy that circle. Come on down a little bit further. Optic will be able to hold the northern side of the circle. Almost gives us flashbacks to the start of today when they held the edge of the craters. That was, of course, a little bit further southwest. Lost up the hill, away from Jempty.
Returning fire, Yempty going down to half health, having to back off. So FaZe so far having a better start. Only 61 players alive at the beginning of the second transition, now moving into the third.
This is not where FlyQ want to be.
No,
if they push east, they go into the middle of 3 squads. So they have to go through FaZe to get into the zone.
FlyQuest having already engaged with Ronin for a significant period of time, taking a little bit of damage. It's those little tick fights that, you take damage to the armor, damage to the helmet. You lose a little bit of meds here and there. But they are going right at FaZe. Yempty actually going down.
He got in a really aggressive positioning, was hoping that the rest of FaZe would be able to give him cover fire, but now FaZe must deal with FlyQuest if they're going to stay in this.
FuzzFace backing off. Hacks on the very top angle there, trying to get shots down onto them. The smokes come out, trying to protect Yempty. But throwing nades downhill is very difficult, and FuzzFace is having difficulty with the geometry.
And they keep hitting the rock as well. The second they think they have themselves a shot, they're just hitting into the edge of the mountain.
Nice looking nade, but interrogates. Essentially, every time FuzzFace peeks, he's silhouetting himself, giving up that headshot.
Yeah.
So there is a very small target to shoot at, but Interrogate is the one to hit it. Hacks up the hill as well, trying to get that angle, but FlyQuest is going straight at them.
Yep.
Mixie's going for the res, though. I don't know if they recognize that, but he might be
they
in
look
danger.
down the hill. This is really problematic. FaZe now with 2 knocked. FlyQuest continue the pressure. It's only FuzzFace and Hacks who have the high ground, but in this case, as we mentioned before, it's not the Obi-Wan Kenobi situation.
Oh, it's 4v2.
This does not work for them. If there's any more grenades, Fly can do it. They're looking for the headshots.
Nice.
And Interrogate will be brought down. FaZe still more work.
They're backing off. They're just trying to get away.
Oh, the nade! It connects on Haxer, but Fuzz will go for a very quick res.
Blue's going for it. This could be an elimination for FaZe. Going out in 16th place would be disaster.
They're making that run. Also, just side note, Ronin is almost about to come up behind them as well. So Blue will have the high ground advantage, and there it is. That's the angle he wants, and FaZe hacks it so low. He's trying to get the res up nice and quick. He knows he needs friends in order to be able to survive
They
here.
cancel the
FlyQuest,
res.
they need more help. They need more friends. Interrogate still down, so Loss coming for the fight, while Something will go down a little bit lower. Mixie will finally be brought down, but here comes Ronin in from the south. They want to try and get this open, but then Something, he can't see Hacks and Fuzzface, so yeah, they back up to 80%. Blue has to work his way down the hillside, but now Ronin shooting FaZe in the back. It's the ultimate pincer, and FaZe, it couldn't be more of a disaster for them.
No. FaZe, unfortunately unable to maintain that fight and eliminated in 16th place.
FlyQ need to res up right now because Ronin, they're tossing the grenades all over the hillside. Interrogate starting up his thing, Something. He needs a quick knock to get the advantage. They're able to get that. Ronin, they know they're split up on the hillside, and there's the hit. Calder gets the hit on the head, able to connect, but FlyQ, they still have the advantage. Ronin, too many players being knocked for them.
Interrogate now going
It's
back to men. He's
just
got no
Duck.
helmet. It's 3v1. Only Duck remains. This
Blue, he doesn't have the life to try and fight that one. He wants to go for the pickup. Duck getting blocked. No, he actually
1v1.
brings out Something. It's all down to Interrogate and Duck. And looking for the quick kills, looking for the punishment on the FlyQ.
Can he clutch again?
He's looking for it. He needs the angle on Duck, but how do you find it? He gets it. Interrogate, keeping FlyQ in the game.
Oh my God, Interrogate again coming through for his team. Unable to secure the kills is Ronin, and Interrogate, having lost 2 players, now keep Something alive and their hopes as well. as FlyQuest. You got to feel bad for FaZe. I mean, they had this fight that was kind of going their way for a minute, and then it went into FlyQuest's favor. They get the res, they get the meds, and then Ronin comes out of nowhere and obliterates them and almost takes FlyQuest along with them. But on the back of Interrogate, an amazing fight. Now 2 down for FlyQuest, but the action continues, and now it's Nova and Lumbermill getting tangled up.
That is right. Let's get our bearings back once more to see how everything is unfolding as Crimson will try and take this hill away from Lumbermill. You got Envious also coming in from the east into this potential fight. It's just yeah, a bit of a cluster at the moment. This is actually outside the circle on the northeastern side. If they want to push west, Optic is actually there. It's that one player from Lumbermill who already made his way over to battle against all of Envious running through the big valley area. But Kingwin, Na'Vi in very nice position. Same for Ghost. Knights, STK also found their way up. Cloud9 are in this bit of a horrid position with Rogue. They've been battling across the crossroad or the T intersection for a very long time.
Oh,
and that's what Rogue is trying to get the upper hand off. Thanks for the roof. Jazza can do it.
Oh, wow. So this, I was actually going to say this might look bad for Rogue with STK shooting down from above. But again, it's C9. I think. Look,
I don't think that's drivable.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Unless you want like a fire crutch.
No doubt. But it looks like there is one remaining C9 player up the hill by himself. So the team play of C9, you got to wonder if they've tilted with the poor showing in this tournament. They just seem to be playing apart from each other. But regardless, who knows how that ended up. But now it's Envious and Lumbermill getting tangled up. Lumbermill with the high ground.
Kane able to stay alive, gets the knock onto Envious. He's got more supports in the form of Wookie Boogie.
Nice finish.
Yep, just ensure it. And the rest of Envious just making a break for the town.
Oh, Kaisico.
That won't work, however. Lumbermill have that one. That's that rogue player I was talking about that already moved into the circle to give Lumbermill just a little bit more information.
I think only now maybe one left standing. It is Caden, the top fragger for his team. Envious having a decent first day and a few flashes here in day number 2, but just unable to get that success needed. Oh! That nade almost landed right on top of, I believe. I'm not sure if that was Drayden or whomever, but that was a Knights player.
Oh, Wookie Bookie.
Trifly.
That's not what you want to have happen.
That was Caden. There you go. Getting one back on him.
Gets knocked falling down the hill and then finished off. FlyQ managed to make their way into the circle, by the way, in the southern side. Interrogate together and letting Ghost, SDK, and Knights have almost this 3-way fight.
Frolicker.
But yeah, Frolicker wants to try and clean up the rest of this southern east side where Rogue have been forced out of the town.
He's in no man's land. He's just kind of crouching around. He knows that Rogue is coming, but now he's been flanked.
It's Crimson.
Yep.
Oh, Frolic is so low. The Crimson can open up at least onto Rogue as they come into actually, no, they can't. They've got the circle to deal with. The circle will continue to make them move.
Not to mention that Ridge, I think, is acting as decent cover for Yannick, who is out of line of sight of Crimson. Knows they're there from the shots, but Crimson is coming their way, so Rogue has to be careful to get grouped up and ready for this upcoming fight. You can see Yannick definitely aware of what's coming. He does have this vehicle for cover as well as the Ridge. Frolicker might just want to back off of this.
Lockwood, he found the angle, goes for the first shot, realizes they are locked in with the Jeep, and gets knocked himself.
Frolicker, there he is. I was going to say back off, but surprise. He's there for a headshot.
Go for the quick revive and get back into that circle. Lockwood, Crimson are coming back down for him. Actually, no, they're not. They're letting him at least walk it off.
Looks like Frolicker is now going to back up off the hill, but this is all about Rogue and Crimson. Lockwood's by himself on the low side of this ridge. Nothing they can really do to help him just yet. It's going to be trying to get that.
They're smoking over. Jam is coming for the run.
Be surprised how this works, but we're now moving over to Kingwin, and it's Hetror trying to jump down the hill. Kingwin and Optic facing off here, taking some pot shots across this this valley they found themselves in, this crater.
So this is the battle of the northern side of the circle. So Kingwin have just been running that western side of the crater fields, and Optic are being forced out thanks to the new movement of the circle. They have to come up that hill slightly, and this is into the kill zone of boom.
Ooh, almost got him there. Hypoc giving that long peek, doesn't land with the Car 98. Only a level 1 vest on Vard. And that battle between Crimson and Rogue ongoing. We come back now to see Jambawa trying to get away from Jazza.
Keep running. Yeah, into the defilades.
Didn't look like it was very decisive, but Rogue did lose one.
So
gotta be careful. These slidey slopes on Miramar can be dangerous. Oh, wow. Speaking of which, there goes Caden. That's Envious eliminated in 12th place.
Yeah, so we're down to 11 teams. There's better be a lot more to drop. NLG's coming up behind Kingwood. I don't know if Butts really wants to try and get through that. That's a very small crevice for him. Kingwin not having the greatest time either. Like, it's just trade-off. IPOC for
nade.
Hetro.
Looks like it's FlyQuest now back in the action. It's Ghost going 4v2 plus the remnants of Rogue. So
They
we'll
can have
see.
a good line on FlyQuest.
No doubt. Oh, speaking
And-
of which,
Especially when McCoy can connect on that. Turtle also finds Jazza.
and finishes. So they could clean up 2 teams here.
They don't know exactly where that last player is from FlyQuest. And now, well, okay, now they do. Something connects.
They got to protect Interrogate. He's been clutch for his team, but it looks like he's now going to find himself out of the game. McCoy going to finish this. That overextension from McCoy has hurt him in the past. He's got to be careful.
Guys still have to move in. The circle, they are not inside yet. They're on the edge of it, however, so it's not that far to go.
All good for now. I like the. I think the mentality from Ghost right now is
Does he
just trying
see
to
him?
secure.
Does he see him? Something's in the bush. He's just hiding it out.
I think he's.
See him run through
He
the
knows
smoke,
there's
and
a full
there's a.
squad.
Oh, that's.
He knows there's a full squad. He can't engage. He
But
might.
that's a guaranteed kill. That's guaranteed points.
Guaranteed
Something
death.
can actually just check the brand at the pan.
Guaranteed death as well. So something playing the big picture here, not wanting to do anything. He's just
Mm-hmm.
outside the zone. FlyQuest now Ghost turning their attention to SDK up the hill. Froliker's there as well, I believe, just below. He's right next to him.
Yep.
It's Jabawa just right above him. Froliker staying quiet, can hear the footsteps.
So much patience from the solo survivors of these teams. There's 4 teams who only had
man,
that one
he's
player
right
left
there.
alive, and we're going to push further south, away from the edge of the craters
Oh, the
and
pan.
onto the hillside. And Froliker able to claim 1, looking for the extra help, but here it comes close from MBS. Froliker already been hit pretty heavily. He does not have time to med in this situation.
Oh,
he's
he's getting
getting
shot in the
shot in the back. It's actually Profi
Yeah.
who will find him, and Froliker will fall, and there goes Cloud9 down to 8.
So that's unfortunate. He didn't even finish the kill there, so nothing gained from Froliker as Ghost finishes him off. And now FlyQuest is in the blue, or sorry, something's in the blue medding, so he did let Ghost get past him. Yannick, the last man standing. Lots of solos there on the southern end.
Oh, time to go big, Wooly. Time to go big.
They do have
Grenades
4.
galore from Optic, and he holds the choke point nicely.
2-2 split from STK here. Nothing to really be done. They
He's
do have to
backing up.
back it. Ooh, actually landing is a nade there as we come back to
Nice
Navi.
line.
Yeah, nice line there indeed. They're trying to trade headshots. So far, it's Yuba. Sorry, how did we say it?
Yuba.
Yuba.
Yuba makes sense for me.
Okay, so that's now Optic taking a couple of casualties, but it is STK on the trade.
Yeah, that's that 2-2 split that didn't really pay off for them, as Hetra just makes his way through it. We're now down to 7 teams. As Na'Vi also try and make their way out. They're in a horrendous position, but the best
There goes
position
Rogue
for
as
him
well.
is to bring out Kingwin. So Kingwin getting cut off for the pass. They're outside in the blue, knocked down last as their
Oh.
sole survivor.
Now it's Lockwood taking some more pressure. The zone coming his way. It's Hetror doing his best to zone these teams. Crimson having a tough start to the game. Managed to find their way into the top 6 so far, but now it's only Lockwood, and he's basically pinched between Ghost and Optic on the high side, but Na'Vi is the primary attention point for Ghost.
Ghost would like just to continue to pepper at Na'Vi and stop them. But yeah, as you said, like Optic needs to be held at bay. Lockwood just needs to be that thorn in their side behind him when the time is right. And Larson, well, he just needs to hold on for dear life while medding himself up.
They're aware of each other. Ghost is going right at, not going right at them, but they are trading at long distance here with that 8x scope.
Finally a shot
Na'Vi
connects.
has good cover, actually, to get in. And Optic had to go for a res as STK not going away. It's Penta LOL knocking down, I believe that was Hetror.
The only thing Na'Vi doesn't have is Defilate. They got a whole bunch of ferns, but that's their primary cover. SDK's not getting involved in this fight just yet. And there's Larson's
Way
situation.
outside.
He's got 2 first aids left.
Wow.
Make that 1 first aid left.
Unfortunate for Kingwin having to try and med in the blue this late in the game. But
And 0 kills as well.
yeah, not to yeah.
But thanks to the kill onto Crimson, they will be able to claim the 5th position in this round.
That's what he wanted. So that's actually Hetror going down. This is difficult for Optic to deal with as it's Ghost now looking to be commanding in this game. They need to deal with Na'Vi, who has closed the gap a little bit and do have the next play zone.
Yep. Especially when they're able to pick up some kills. So Optic, they're down to Hypoc. You've got 2 players from SDK shoot to kill up on the hillside. Na'Vi are pinned on
Kofi
these
harassing.
ferns. They're just trying to get out of it, but Ghosts do have to move into Na'Vi's circle. This has gone west,
Oh!
but they have the line. 2 hits. But it's Hypoc who will be the man to go down, so we're down to 3 teams. SDK in the northeast, Na'Vi in the circle, and Ghost, they have to move up from the south.
This is great for Ghost and Na'Vi with FaZe going out so early in this game. First eliminated, they're now looking to try and command and get into that that top 3, maybe even that top spot, depending on how Ghost collects kills. I don't know if they can make it in this game, but they're going to get close.
This circle is actually hilarious. I believe Na'Vi have the only real place to take cover in the shade. Like, that's it.
Ghost can rotate as 4 and try and take it. Profi has been doing a great job harassing on this low
But
side.
how do they rotate when SDK hold the hill?
Well, it's just a matter of, I think, SDK having to move. There's maybe some patience there, but
They got 4 seconds till the circle, so this will start to force the action at least.
yeah, Na'Vi has to manage 2 fronts essentially. They are aware of SDK, but they do have to worry about Ghost, who has that 4-man, maybe looking to rotate, but there's nowhere for Ghost to go really. So I mean, it's going to be hard for either team.
Even if they run into the circle, the fact that U-Bar is on the eastern side of the circle, Ghost must reach his position. You see him there, almost looks like the center of this current blue.
I really like this because I don't think they paid any attention to Yuba at all.
They won't know about it. SDK knows because U-Bar has no helmet, so letting the locks flow through. He won't have the greatest position on the hill, but he'll have the reinforcement from Na'Vi. So SDK get a knock onto Turtle. This will make this push from Ghost even harder. So SDK as well as Ghost end up in their own little battle as both of them are pressured to get inside the circle. McCoy will make it, but U-Bar is there, and he instantly downs him, taking McCoy out. And Ghost, they've lost so many. Balak is the only one who is still on his feet.
Oh, wow.
This is a disaster for Ghost. This allows Na'Vi to now focus on SDK, who also cannot get into the circle. We're down to 2 teams, and it's just 1 player. Pentalol was already dropped, so it's what last player for SDK.
Grabbing a helmet, maybe. I don't know, actually, maybe knocked him off.
He doesn't have one.
Yeah, it doesn't have
tapped slightly. Instant reveal, and this should be Na'Vi cleaning up the round. Pentalol is finally finished, and it is all on the 1 man on the hill, and it is all bullets into his scalp. The win goes the way of Na'Vi. Much needed to propel themselves back up into that top 4 position.
Really nice looking game for them. That flank, that setup for Yuba to be way out in front of his team. Profi and company were focused so heavily on the back 3 that he was able to set up and wait for them to come in, and he just absolutely decimated them with SDK trying to help as well. 6 kills for SDK. Ghost having a decent game. Optic actually sneaking back into the top 5 as well. They didn't quite have the position that they needed to secure that top end of the hill, but a good game from them. Kingwin, 0 kills in 5th place, having to med through the blue. That's really difficult for them, but Na'Vi and FaZe having a difficult game. That's going to be great for them.
Yeah, FaZe dropping down. The fact that Optic was still alive into the top 4 and were able to claim, like, it was only 3 kills, but it's something.
Right.
It's allowing them to close that distance.
No
Now,
doubt.
that's what we were talking about when we were looking at these early rounds. They have to be able to close that distance with FaZe, and that's exactly what's happened. Na'Vi should propel themselves in top 4. Optic will be able to close the distance with FaZe and probably hold their 2nd position. And even Ghost performance. Ghost was sitting in 5th position going into that round, so they will also be in a nice spot claiming with kills as well as position. So it's making it what we wanted.
Yeah,
which was a
close,
nice
close
ending.
Absolutely. So it is going to continue to heat up, but I mean, if you're FaZe, you have to now be worried.
Yeah.
Optic is getting closer and closer, and that's 2 consecutive games for them. So from a confidence perspective, you have to wonder, you know, what are they thinking? No, they are one of the consistent teams. They've got a lot of great voices, a lot of pedigree on LAN. So it's a matter of just kind of collecting themselves, realizing that they have the lead still. But
Boys.
guys at the desk,
Hi, guys.
it's getting close out here. It's
FaZe
getting
is
hot.
just melting like the snow in the Nordics.
Yeah, no doubt.
Indeed.
It's getting close, boys.
Toby's absolutely right in saying that
Right,
there
alright.
were some worries and fears that, you know, at a certain point in the competition earlier on that things could have been decided, but that's absolutely not the case right now, and things are closer than they've ever been, maybe.
Yes, it's down with FaZe and up with FaZe, right? Like,
Yeah.
so everything like balances nicely.
No doubt. I mean, with FaZe having these last 2 difficult games, and even though Optic isn't really making too much noise, they've quietly been consistent in that top 5. They are closing the gap, getting closer and closer. I'm interested to see where Na'Vi winds up here. I mean, they had a nice win with a decent amount of kills. And even STK not really able to do anything as far as moving up the leaderboard, but that really cost other teams, specifically Ghost, who was looking to try and close that out with 4 right up until the end.
All right, well, thank you very much for that, Toby and Moses. Guys, Na'Vi showing that they can pull out the stops from Miramar to take 1st place. Andy, what did you see from them that went right?
I knew it. Like, they can do that win when they actually play their own game, and they played their own game. That positioning from Shea was just like perfect, and he was just waiting and waiting for the right moment. STK taking one guy out of Ghost, and that basically put Ghost on the move, and they were not considering any other option that they need to get to the zone to fight and get to the cover to fight. So it was perfectly executed, really.
Yeah, and
Natu?
This really does wonders of the big picture as well for Navi. Who finally have that composure that we've seen from them earlier in this competition. Now having a bit of lackluster games in the past few, but finally coming back with a stride, especially with FaZe crumbling in this game. This is spicing things up.
I don't know.
More.
Did Ghost in the end, have too much attention? Did they go for like too much attention when there's a couple teams left anymore and they're just shooting everywhere direction, and when suddenly all the other teams notice that, hey, they're not on the zone anymore. They're going to run to us soon. Let's all aim there. And then they started basically
Dropping left flies.
Yeah, everything's just falling apart.
Well, let's jump into the leaderboard and see what happened in that matchup and then the overall one afterwards. So it was Na'Vi with 10 kills, getting a total of 140 points, thanks to coming in first place. STK came second, then Ghost, again, 2 wins today and now a third place as well. So a strong finish with 97 points. Then Crimson and Optic, and FaZe Clan right down at the bottom on 0. Which means Na'Vi have skyrocketed to the top of the table. Optic are 11 points behind them in second, and FaZe are, what does that mean, 16 points behind them in third. And Ghost now really showing that they can take it in these last 2 games.
This looks interesting. That's my top 3.
Yeah.
In a different order, though.
It is. But it's not over yet because 5, 6, 7...
We'll see.
All those guys, even the Knights.
Yeah, everybody
When,
can come on
like,
that one.
I know it sounds as if we've said it many times before, but that's because it's been the case throughout the tournament that so many teams are in contention for this, and it's absolutely uncertain still who's going to raise the trophy at the end of the day, Natu.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's the stars are aligning in terms of the competition. Where it's really getting so close to 50 or so points between the first place and the 5th place. That's what more can you ask for in this situation? That means that we could be in a situation when there's like individual players alive from most of those teams in late round, where they will just have to survive and hope for their, the other teams to be dropping down so that they get positional points.
There's a couple more games still happening. I hope that Maxi, they have a couple misplays happening now in 2 different games from FaZe. So I'm just hoping that Maxi will, take out the whip and, they're not playing their own game right now.
Get a bit of a reset.
Yeah, they need to get the reset now and play their own game to actually manage. They can still manage to easily win this, but they have to step up now.
For now, let's check in with Kelly, who is standing by with one of the winning players from... guys, help me out. It's just disappeared out of my head.
Navi?
Na'Vi, of course. They won, right?
Yeah?
Yeah. Ewan, I'm told.
Thank you so much, Paula. I do indeed have a player from Na'Vi here. Ivan, congratulations on that win there. Now, switching over to Miramar, you guys did pretty well yesterday on Erangel, and today, or this game right here, was really the only time, or the first time that you guys did pretty decently on Miramar. What have you had to do and adjust to play on Miramar, and what are some of the difficulties that you're seeing playing on the map?
We actually got like really good circle for this game, so we just rotated and had a nice luck with circles. So we just, but in the end, we could probably lose if Ghost were shooting us as 4 of them, but they were split it and shooting another squad at the same time. But we managed to win this game.
What was the turning point there? Was that when Ghost was engaging on you, maybe focusing a little too heavily on you and not paying attention to their surroundings?
No, Ghost actually paid too much attention to other squad, because we were 4. We had no helmets, maybe only 1, and they split it. 2 of them were shooting us, but they shouldn't let us in the circle. So that was their mistake, I guess.
So you said earlier that you got a good circle and that was part of the reason that you won, but you're not always going to be able to get a good circle. Obviously, there's RNG in that. What can you do in substitute to that to make sure that you guys keep getting high placements in these next few games?
I don't know, we just play our game, play on foot, and have fun.
All right, good. Thank you. Congratulations on your win. Good luck in the upcoming games. And guys, don't go anywhere because we're heading back to the analyst desk.
Yuba there saying that exploiting a weakness turned the tide in their favor, and it's something that we identified earlier on in the tournament right, Andy and Natu, that these guys are good at pushing the pace and kind of creating the path that they want to follow themselves.
This was a very interesting situation between Ron and FlyQuest. And I think this is where FaZe was involved as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was
Yes.
a big like mountaintop battle.
And this
Evening.
So,
nice
that's a
Picasso.
steep
Look at
angle
this,
too,
look at
right?
this.
Yeah.
That squad. Those roofs are deadly. Like you don't never expect them to be on those slum roofs, and when there's someone actually there shooting at you, it might surprise you.
I want to know why the lumber mill guys came up with that name.
You still wonder that?
Yeah. No, well, I haven't mentioned that once.
We got a lot of forest in the north.
Oh, okay.
So maybe that's why.
Yeah. Natu,
Just jump
taking a
that
look
way.
at these highlights, it's certainly impressive the way some of the teams navigated, but I think Navi's endgame really
Yeah.
stood out
It-
as a moment.
Yeah, it certainly does. When they have this decisive feel to it, when
Yeah.
what they do, it feels like that they're really eye of the tiger on point on every situation. It's just like when in the situations that they've lost, they've kind of been relatively passive in comparison to the ones that they've won. So it just means they need to be, I don't know whether it's a consistency thing in terms of just having their routine and having to play it more and more, but you would imagine that every single time they do get themselves in that situation, they must have noticed the pattern that when we do take initiatives, when we are proactive, that's when we are successful. And they should be able to do that every single time.
Indeed. Now, Lothar is ready to break down two, I think, of his favorite moments from the matchup. with the
Actually,
help
it's
of you
one,
guys.
but it's
Oh,
super
one.
long. It's
Oh, it's a
4
longer one.
minutes. I mean, it's obvious which one did we pick, right?
Indeed, of course.
I would
It's-
pick the FaZe one.
Yeah, FlyQuest, FaZe, and Ronin on the back. It's a 4-minute replay, so let's just play it in a little bit of slow motion, so because it will take a while. And look at this. This is so interesting. FlyQuest is actually approaching FaZe where FaZe has the high ground. That's something that usually just gives the high-grounded team an advantage, but in this case, Yempty was downed super fast. That gives a little bit of vision for the rest of the team, but at the same time, they play a little bit scared. They, as you can see, Haxeti and Fuzzface are taking defensive position and trying to shoot FlyQuest, which have the numbers advantage, but at the same time, they have also a cover here because of the way the terrain works. They can hide prone behind the rock, take slower approach, and they know they're making a lot of noise, so they won't have to push at some point anyway. It's just about the fact now that Mixi will take a route back to his team to help out Yempty and help out his teammates to have different approach so he can have a crossfire on FlyQuest, but at the same time now it's time to shine when it comes to the individual skill. If any of the players will be able to land headshots on the opponents, they are gaining so much, and it goes both ways. When they're almost full teams fighting, a single kill without a trade is a great follow-up. And as you can see here, Mixi and Yempty are now down. Mixi didn't want to even shoot. He was hesitant. He went for the res, and that is a big mistake in that situation. They are now 2 versus 4, even with a high ground advantage. If FlyQuest is working together, and as you can see, they are splitting between duos, they will always have a crossfire, and it's just about taking advantage. But now, this is a very crucial moment. They know that they were fighting for such a long time. They are losing the position if someone else is going to mix the battle. This is why they are falling back, taking high ground, because they know that someone else might approach this entire team fight. This is very interesting because that's actually what happens. And now Ronin goes directly through the same way that FlyQuest was going, and will catch FaZe off guard. And then we'll see in a second when we'll unpause. We'll see a very interesting situation. Now, this is 2 versus 1, basically. FaZe is going for the res, and we'll see FlyQuest doing the same, basically, after they win the fight. So now this is the moment where Ronin is approaching this entire fight, and I'm not sure, actually, if FlyQuest did hear them approach or what happened, but they kind of
shot Fuzzface. This is what happened.
Well, now they shot, but something did fall back before that actually happened. So it's either he scouted them through this line of sight and just went like, oh, there's a third party, we need to fall back, or they just, it's 6'10" sometimes, you know, and you will just feel that you should the game sense tells you that you should change your position because you might get into a sandwich. And this is the moment where Ronin is getting outplayed by FlyQuest. They have the height advantage, and now this is the moment where Interrogate will shine for a second time in this tournament, rescuing his entire team. And I think that's something that is really crucial. I'm not sure, Andy, I think that was you telling me about the fact that he's like switching always teams, right?
Mm.
And what about that? What do you think is that? He's an impressive player.
Yeah, so why would such an impressive player be hopping between teams and not find a stable roster?
It's maybe inside the team. Trying to find the perfect chemistry and stuff. Like, it doesn't matter are you a good shooter or not. Always good shooters in one team doesn't work out if there's no chemistry in it.
Haven't you learned that from Counter-Strike, Paula?
Yeah, I know, but we have to ask the question for the audience at home.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. Like, even though you have multiple, always their personalities don't, add up, and if you're not having fun in a team, you cannot shine.
Yeah.
You need to enjoy you need to enjoy what you're doing with the people you do it with.
Yeah. Lothar, you yourself used to playing esports solo, right?
Well, in Hearthstone, yes. In other FPS games, I was always team-based. So I was actually a semi-pro in Counter-Strike Source.
Oh, okay.
Long time ago.
Fantastic. Nartu's
My
filled
favorite
to the
game.
brim with joy.
My favorite game.
Yeah. Continue, Lothar, please.
Anyway, my point is, Interrogate, MVP of this situation, very... I don't know actually who's calling for FlyQuest, but the decision to fall back in this entire moment was crucial and allowed them to survive with only 2 players. So that was a little bit of unlucky. But still, they went on top, but it's just what is happening after that, because with 2 players, it's very tough to win. So
Yeah, and I think that anything could have happened if Jempty would have not misplayed there. Jempty basically gave the high ground positioning by going way too far scouting, getting called by 2 guys from FlyQuest while his teammates did not have the angle from the uphill. So that kind of like was the misplay from FaZe at that point. That's why I point out that needs to get that stuff together and try to cut those.
Also, the 4th member went for the res instead of being aggressive.
Yeah, he could have held the angle,
right?
and still the high ground did not have angle on that spot.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Lothar, for your
My
input
pleasure.
as always, and we will catch you later. Minimizing those mistakes, as we've just mentioned, is going to be absolutely crucial in these next 2 final matchups here at the GLL PUBG Season 1 Grand Finals, because that is all we have left. But it's still in contention between about 1 to 17, would you say, guys?
At least top 5 is
Yeah, at
still
least
in the
top
fight.
5. Yeah,
Yeah.
and for now, we'll be taking a short 5-minute break, and we'll be right back after then. And we will see you when we return.